This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by WestHost, offering premium web hosting since 1998. Go to westhost.com/TYT for 25% off your order.
You know, Governor Walker has cut state workers' pay. He's, said, no, these guys are making too much money and we can't have it because of our budget problems. Well, reporters found a guy by the name of Brian DeShane who was making a whole hell of a lot of money. His salary was initially over $64,000, and then within 2 months, he got an instant raise of over 26% and was promoted to a job where he was making $81,500. He was overseeing over 70 workers. He was in charge of environmental and regulatory commission. Now, he's 27 years old. He has 2 drunk driving convictions. He's a college dropout. He has no experience whatsoever in the environmental field or the regulatory field. So how the hell did this 27-year-old get this amazing job, oversee all these people when he doesn't have any management experience either? And he gets this huge raise while everybody else is getting a pay cut. Are you going to be shocked to find out that it turns out, well, you look at that. Brian's dad is a guy named Jerry DeShane, who's the chief lobbyist for the Wisconsin Builders Association. Golly gee willikers. Funny how that works out. And it turns out that, of course, the Wisconsin Builders Association is among Governor Walker's top 5 PAC donors. They've given over $121,000 to Governor Walker's election campaign, right? So this becomes a huge story, and of course Governor Walker is embarrassed because it's really the most brazen political cronyism you could ever see. And while he's pretending to care about the budget and, oh my God, we don't want to pay state workers too much, he gets this kid out off the street, a donor's son, puts him in and says, here's a huge pay and here's a huge raise right on top of it, right? And by the way, when they asked the lobbyist, hey, did you talk to Governor Walker's administration about getting your son a job? He said, well, no, I'm sure it had nothing to do with that. My son has a terrific resume. Yeah, sure, I talked to Walker's chief of staff several times. It's like, I look out for all my kids. I'm sure you do. I get it, right? But the governor shouldn't be doing that. And by the way, in his new law that was passed, he would turn 37 civil service jobs into political appointments. It's Republican 101. This is what they did during the Iraq War. They have put all of these political appointees that were like in their 20s, that had no experience whatsoever, that were donor sons, into incredibly important management decisions in Iraq. That's part of the reason why we screwed it up like you couldn't possibly believe. Because those kids are like, what? I don't know. Yeah, sure. I take the money, you take the money, who cares? They didn't know anything. And that's what Walker wants to do in Wisconsin. By the way, the person who had the job before this political appointee had 25 years of experience. So they get rid of people who actually knew how to do this job, and they put in a kid who has no freaking idea, who then has to give orders to people who've been working at that job for decades, when he doesn't know a thing about it. And they give him the best salary and the best promotion and the best raise. So it's sickening all around. And then, now that there's pressure on him, Governor Walker says, oh, what? Did I give him that promotion? Was it me? Oh, I didn't know that. All right. I'll take the promotion back. Now I'll bring him back to his original job at the Department of Regulation and Licensing, and he'll go back to $64,728 job as Bureau Director of Board Services. It's kind of a funny compromise because it's acknowledging, obviously, it's a political appointment to pay off one of my donors. Obviously, he's not qualified. So I'll give him another important job inside my government, inside the Wisconsin's government, more importantly. Can he do that job? I don't know. Look, dude, I demoted the guy. Come on, that's enough. I got to obviously pay off my donors, right? That's how our democracy works, right? They buy me, and then I have to pay them back with your money. Now, Republicans always pretend to care about, it's your taxpayers' money. When it's taxpayers' money to pay off their donors, well, that's totally fine. So this kid who's totally unqualified gets a great job in Wisconsin. It's just a little less great than the one he had before the press realized it. If you think Governor Walker's looking out for you, you got another thought coming to you, man. If he thinks you're a Koch brother that's called in, he's like, oh, yes, how can I help you, sir? Yes, Mr. Koch, absolutely. I will crush those union sons of bitches. And if it's somebody who gave him PAC money, he's like, oh, where else can I put your kids? How much more money can I funnel to you? By the way, think about that, man. Look at what a great investment politicians are. They funneled $121,000 to him. Instantly, his kid, if the press hadn't noticed, got over an $81,000 a year job. In 2 years, his kid alone would have made it up. That would have been $163,000, right? They would have been if he got nothing else. But of course, he's going to get everything else. You think the Wisconsin Builders Association isn't going to get sweet deals? You think they're not going to make up that lousy $121,000 they spent on Walker immediately? I mean, this is how our politics works. And I'm almost reluctant to tell you guys because I feel like I'm almost educating. If there were right-wingers watching, they'd be taking notes. Like, man, he's right. These politicians are incredibly easy to buy, and they really get you that money back from the taxpayers in a lickety-split. The entire system is corrupt, man. When we have people paying our politicians to get elected, of course they're going to get paid back. Of course. We got to fix it, man. We got to have campaign finance reform. It's the only issue. If we pay our politicians, they work for us. If someone else pays them, they work for them. It's that simple.
And at West Host offers web hosting for 19 cents a day. You can't get cheaper. That's
right.
ridiculous. You could do web host transfers. Like you got a website, boom, transfer.
For free. You have 24/7 support.
60-day money-back guarantee. Well, then you literally can't lose. 25% off if you go to westhost.com/TYT.
You know what I think about that? I think West Host.
West Host.